I set up a bow and I was doing a bow build, or maybe it was a sight like a sight tuning video or something. But I did a video on something, and I remember talking about how I was going to show you guys how I did torque tuning, because I've always had kind of a love-hate relationship with torque tuning, because I don't understand how it could possibly work. Because if you think about what you're actually doing when you torque tune, you are moving your rest and your sight position in relation to each other. So theoretically, the closer you have them together, anytime you torque, the less it's going to move. The further you have it away from each other, and when you torque with the further away, it moves further than it would if you didn't have it as far away. So I still don't understand why it works, but it does seem to add benefit to my setup in some way. So I wanted to get on here and just show you guys how I torque tune. I mean, if you guys want to do it this way, that's fine. I'm sure there's plenty of different ways you can do this, but this way seems to work pretty good. It's pretty methodical, so you can really tell your results and be able to give yourself good enough data to actually figure out what you need to be doing as far as where you want your sight position to be set. And I always torque tune with my sight position. I don't really go with my rest, because if you talk to Josh Butcher at Bass and Bucks, he's the one that kind of told me about active brace height. And so I want to keep my brace height at the actual brace height of the bow and maximize that. And by moving your rest back, what you're basically doing is changing the active brace height of your bow. And so when you bring that rest back, you're changing that. Say if you have a 6-inch brace height bow and you bring that rest back 2 inches, well, now you're down to a 4-inch brace height bow, active brace height. So but with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and put this paper together, and I'm gonna show you guys kind of quickly how I set up the target for torque tuning, and then after that I'll get into torque tuning. Alright, so the things that I'm going to use for this is going to be just some regular sheets of paper, just some printer paper, and then I'm going to use this electrician's tape on here. It's only a 1/2 inch thick, and I'm going to be shooting at 55 yards, so that's going to be plenty thin enough. Basically, I'm just going to tape these two pieces of paper together. And then this is the line that I'm going to be aiming at. This black tape is going to be the line that I'm going to be aiming at on the target. There's one. Two. And 3. Okay, so now that we got all 3 of those put together, now we're going to tape off the sections horizontally. Okay. Alright, so just to throw it out there, I'm only going to have 3 different sections of torque tuning, like real estate on the target. And if you're going to do different sight positions, however many sight positions that you're going to do, you should have that many sections of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the target. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about and try to make it a little bit more clear, hopefully. Alright, you guys, so I got it taped to the target just like that. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to go back to 55 yards, and I'm just going to set my sight bar on the furthest out position on the bow that I want to test, and then I'm going to shoot the bottom segment of this target, and I'm going to be aiming about right here, just so that I don't bleed up in about right here. If I didn't get that on camera, about right there, just so that I don't bleed up with my shots into this section, because you really want to keep your sections clean from each other and not have arrows impacting in different sections. So first section, which is going to be my furthest out position on my sidebar, then we'll bring it in 1 click, shoot it there, and then bring it in another click and shoot the top one. So I just set this bow up. Is the base of this story is I just set this bow up, but I want to double check my torque tune, and where it has that Sharpie mark is the spot that I've been shooting it at, and I know it's going to be close, so I'm going to run it behind, one click behind, then I'm going to shoot it where the Sharpie mark is already located at, and then I'm going to shoot it one position in front of it, and then I just want to see and make sure that I'm still good at this location. So I'm going to start here and shoot at that bottom portion. You can watch my grip. My grip's not going to change on this one. That took forever. Okay, and then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot 2 shots in each grip position. So it's going to be like a neutral grip for the first 2 shots. And then for these, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my grip and I'm going to influence my grip this way. So I'll show you what I mean. Basically, I'm going to be putting index finger pressure on the grip in that direction 2 times. Okay. Alright, so we got 2 neutrals, 2 index fingers, and now we're going to do thumb strong grip. So I'm going to be putting pressure in this way on the grip. Both of those were really good shots, actually, for what they were. Alright, so let's go check those out, because I don't have 18 arrows to shoot all of them at once, so we're gonna have to make some trips here. But basically the first shot I took was not the greatest. Or second shot I took with the neutral grip was not actually the greatest, and it missed the paper, I'm pretty sure. So, but it was aiming at the bottom side of it. So the group though is pretty great. So what we're looking at here is a pretty tight group for torque tuning, so pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those. We're gonna move the sight position back to its natural or its original position, and then I'm gonna shoot the same exact way on the middle sight, or the middle segment of this target. So this portion, aiming like I hit low on that one, so I'll probably aim about the same spot, because the more you bring it in, the higher you hit. So yeah, I'll bring it, I'll aim probably about right there on there, and then the next one I'll aim probably even lower up. Depending on where the middle one hits, I'll probably aim like right in there. So let's pull these, check out the next 2 positions. I meant to tell you guys, and I meant to do this, but I didn't do it on this one. Generally, I will mark the holes of each grip positions. Generally, I try to keep track of where the arrows are hitting, and on my thumb pressure grip, or thumb heavy grip positions, I like to mark those, and then on the neutral ones, mark those with like an N and a T for thumb, and then an I for index, and then that'll tell me like where they're hitting based off of which torque that I put into the grip. And that way I can differentiate as I go up the tape. But that really is more useful when you're doing more than 3 sight positions. So if you're going to go through your entire sight bar, that's probably really important to do. That'll just kind of give you more information when you're doing this of what is hitting where based off of what you're doing with your grip. So meant to do that, but I completely forgot, and it is something that I generally do that I think is kind of important. So just throwing it out there. All right, so we're back here at the shooting platform, and we're gonna go ahead and shoot 6 more arrows on this paper down here. Move this sight position here, move it to its original position, the Sharpie marked position. Try to keep this the same tightness too. I don't really think it matters a whole lot, but depending on how tight you have it, it could technically influence your sight, but it shouldn't really affect your torque tune, but it will affect it could affect where your sight is actually positioned based on how tight you have it. So I usually try to keep this the same tightness as I go through, and it'll just kind of give you a better idea of how far left or right it veers as you go down the sight bar. So 2 neutral position shots here with the grip, middle. Good shot. Pretty okay shot. A little left. Went off a little left. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put some. I think we started last time with thumb heavy, maybe. I'm gonna do thumb first this time. So thumb heavy first this time. No, we did index. I'll do index. Okay. It's a pretty decent shot for what it was. One more index. Again, it's hard to say it was a good shot when you're doing that, but the pin was where I wanted it to be. So now we're gonna do thumb heavy shots, 2 thumb heavy shots. High and left. That was not gonna look good. A little better, still a little left. We'll just roll with that. Go down there and check those real quick. All right, so generally, if my original position doesn't continue to be consistent, basically, so if it's not the best group out of the 3, so like this one obviously is not as good as the one before it. It's not terrible. I mean, torquing as much as you guys saw it was. But if I find that one position in a different spot on the sight bar it grouped better, then I'll just work my way from that position out. So if it's the one behind the original position, I'll work my way back. If it's the one in front of the original position, I'll work my way forward, and I'll just do this 2 or 3 times until I find which spot is the new best position to have the sight bar positioned. So we're gonna pull these, do the next position in front of the old position, and then basically just go from there. All right, and so as far as how far you should do this torque tuning from, I'm doing mine at 55 yards just because that's my USAT distance, and so that's what I'm going to be shooting with this bow anyways. So I'd rather it be absolutely perfect at 55 yards, but you can do this at pretty much any distance. I would suggest doing it no more than No less than 40 yards though, because once you get in closer than 40 yards, it's gonna be really hard to tell what the results are. All right, you guys, so we're on the last position here. We're gonna go ahead and throw this on that last sight bar position in front of the old one. That's pretty similar. And then just like before, we're gonna do 2 neutral grips, just natural neutral grips. And then we're gonna do 2 index heavy, 2 thumb heavy, and then go check them out. And I'm gonna aim at the middle of the paper on this one, just because the last time I hit low, I hit low anyways, even though I was aiming there. So we're gonna do middle of the paper. Hopefully I don't pass through the target, because it's pretty ate up there. Reset. Went off good, and it went right through it, man. Oh well, the holes will be there. Obviously you don't want to pass through every shot you take, but you can still tell the results you need. Broke a little left. That one went through it too. I have a feeling that every single one of these arrows is going to go through this target. Can't see anything, guys. Alright, so index heavy. It's so hard to make the shot fire when you're doing that. Gosh, every single shot's going through, you guys. Thumb heavy. It was there, it went right through again. And that is why you shoot at cores and not the actual body of your target, because I've destroyed the top side of the body of my target here. Well, every shot was where I wanted it to be as far as aiming wise, so that's good. Yeah, sorry about the lighting and the audio on this thing, guys, because like I said, this phone has super good video. It's just so glary dark, or glary, like the position of the sun is like the worst position possible. It's like directly behind the target, but that's all I have, so that's what I gotta work with. And the audio is just pretty much garbage on this. So the only thing I can show you guys is basically where the arrows went through. It looks like I have 1 survivor here, and pretty much this looks like 2 here, 1 here, 2 here, and 1 there. So not terrible in group positioning width wise, because you're not looking at the height of the group, you're looking at the width on all of these. So that's what you need to do. And then the other one, you can see the hole for that arrow hit right there on that one. So that one's probably actually the closest. All right, you guys, so that is how I torque tune. I'll just basically do exactly what I just did on however many sight positions that I want to do, and then you can mark, so like put like a number 1 on the target right here, a number, you know, like 2 on this one, and then like 3 on this one, and in the corner somewhere, that way it's not like in the way. But you can do that, and that way you can differentiate which sight position it was, and then, like I said, mark the holes of which grip pressures you are having on each shot if you can, and that will give you a better idea of where your sight should be positioned. And instead of just throwing the sight on there in any old way, you can have a actual reason for where you're putting your sight. But now, this is full disclosure. One thing that I've noticed that since I've started doing this is that it does help, but the only thing that sucks about it is that after I get done torque tuning, every time I have a really hard time for the next like 2 or 3 days getting myself to just shoot natural shots again, because I usually spend a lot of time on this, and so I'm just constantly putting all kinds of different grip torques on my grip, and whenever I go to actually just shoot normal shots again, it's really, really hard to do that for some reason, get back in that rhythm and get your mind back used to doing the right thing. So what I started doing, that I don't know if it works or not yet, is I started using just a regular target, putting it on the target face, and then putting the target face on the actual target, and then just shooting it and shooting it for a long period of time, maybe a full day, like 100, 150, 100, 200 shots on one target, and then do it on one sight position, come out the next day and do a different target and do it on the next sight position, do it on the next sight position, next sight position throughout each day following that first day. So, and that's what I've been doing, what I've started doing, so that I can try to keep it to where my grip, I'm not sitting there putting tons of different torques into my grip and getting myself out of a rhythm of a good shot. So I mean, the way I see it is throughout a whole day of 150 to 200 shots, I'm gonna have some mistakes in there. I'm gonna put some torque into the grip in some way or another. So if I have a lot of shots on one target, or if you have like a shot target plotter on your phone, like an app that you can plot your arrows, you can do it that way, and you can kind of see where you have the least amount of left and rights on a target throughout your days based off of sight positions. So just throwing it out there. Also, if you guys don't mind, like always, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot when you subscribe, because I get the channel monetized eventually if I get enough subscribers, and the more likes I get, the more people that see the actual video, and then the more people that see the video, the more subscribers I get. So please do like, share, comment, subscribe if you guys don't mind, and until next time, I'll see y'all in the next video.